So, let's dive into this really simple but kind of profound story. It's about a young man, a wise teacher, and, well, a single glass of water. It sounds almost too basic, right? But believe me, it holds a powerful secret to quieting that restless mind and finding a little calm in our, let's face it, pretty chaotic world. Does that sound familiar at all? I mean, that feeling? This was the day-to-day reality for a young guy named Marco. His mind was just this constant storm of thoughts, worrying about the past, stressing about the future. It's a feeling I think we can all relate to, that internal chatter that just refuses to switch off.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem. Marco, like so many of us, was living everywhere except right here, right now. His mind was always wandering, stuck in this constant tug-of-war between what already happened and what might happen next.
You can almost see the trap here, right? On one side, you've got the heavy weight of the past, Marco just constantly replaying mistakes, feeling all of this regret and sadness. And then, on the other side, you have this crippling fear of the future, all those what-ifs that just paralyze you. He was completely stuck in the middle with absolutely no mental space left for the present. So eventually, Marco just hits a wall. He's had enough. He just can't keep living with this mental storm raging inside him. So he decides to do what people in stories and in real life often do when they reach that breaking point. He goes looking for some answers, for some wisdom.
He hears about this wise old man living up in the hills. And get this, the guy is a former psychologist who basically traded the hustle and bustle of the city for a simple life out in nature. So this isn't just some random guru. He's someone who really understands the human mind. For Marco, this guy feels like his absolute last hope for figuring out how to escape his own head.
After a super long journey, Marco finally finds the old man and just pours his heart out, explaining all the turmoil inside. But instead of getting some long, complicated lecture, the wise man gives him a very simple and honestly a very strange task, a test that involves nothing more than a glass of water. Okay, so those were the instructions. Simple enough, right? But the glass was filled right to the very, very top, so full that even the slightest little shake would make it spill. The task was super clear, super simple, and it was going to demand absolute focus. Marco, probably a little confused, accepts the challenge. And you got to understand, this wasn't some quiet, peaceful walk. Oh no, the path was pure chaos. Just imagine trying to do this yourself. You're on a busy road, kids are running around, dogs are barking, shopkeepers are yelling out. But Marco's attention, it was completely 100% locked on that one single thing, keeping the water in that glass perfectly still. So Marco gets back and he's done it. He hasn't spilled a single drop. He's feeling pretty proud of himself, I'm sure. But this is where the real lesson, the great revelation, is about to happen. He still has no idea what the point of the test actually was. The wise man doesn't say good job or congratulate him on his steady hand. Instead, he just asks this one simple, piercing question. See, he wasn't interested in whether Marco completed the task. He was interested in what Marco experienced while doing it. And boom, there it is. Marco's answer is the key that unlocks this entire lesson. In his intense focus on the present moment, on just the water in that glass. All the noise, all the chaos of the village, it all just vanished. His mind literally had no room for anything else. So, that's the secret. The peace that Marco was so desperately searching for wasn't some hidden technique or complicated philosophy. It was right there, in the act of complete focus. By putting all of his attention on the glass of water, he wasn't sad about his past. He wasn't worried about his future. He was simply present. And in that presence, his mind finally became quiet. Now, this is way more than just a nice story. It's basically a practical guide for all of us. The lesson of the glass of water is something we can apply right now in our own lives. It's about totally shifting how we think about what peace even is. Think about it. Peace isn't some destination you get to after years of hard work. You can't buy it, you can't achieve it like a trophy. Just like the story shows, it's a state that is already inside you, and you can tap into it at any time. It's what happens when you fully, completely live in the present moment. So how do you actually do this? Well, you find your own glass of water, and it could be anything really. Washing the dishes, writing an email, truly listening to a song, or even just savoring a cup of coffee. Pick one thing and give it your entire focus. Now, your mind is going to wander. It's what minds do. When it drifts to the past or the future, just gently guide it back. That act of focusing, that state of being present, that's the practice. That is where the peace is. And that really brings us to the final takeaway. It's a question I want to leave you with. In this very moment, right now, as you're finishing this up, what's your glass of water? Where is your focus? Because the answer, as this simple story shows us, might just be the start of a much quieter mind.